hey YouTube, I wanted to give you all kind of an update on our family's car situation, and as you can tell, this is a red Mustang. And for those of you who really know your Mustangs, you'll know that this is a 2010 Mustang GT Premium with the track pack. It's finished in this gorgeous red candy metallic color. And the reason I have this is because this is my brother's car. I mentioned in my summer updates on the family cars that my brother will be getting a car soon, wanted a 2010 GT. Well, here's a 2010 GT. Found this about 3 hours from our hometown. Today is Thursday. You'll probably be seeing this on Thursday or Friday. Drove down Tuesday evening to get it. It was about, like I said, about 3 hours away. Didn't get home till almost midnight. But like I said, this one is finished in red candy metallic. I'll do a better video on it once it's all cleaned up. I just wanted to kind of give you all a quick intro and a test drive of it. This one does ride on 245 45 R19s. Not a huge fan that it has 19s, but these are the track pack wheels. It has pretty much brand new Goodyear Eagle RSA tires. And they're pretty good tires as far as I can tell. I'll talk more about how the car drives once I get around to the test drive portion. Square setup all the way around 245's front and rear. Of course, this one is the GT, obviously, so it has dual exhausts. GT badge there in the middle. It does have a little lip spoiler up here. It did come from factory with that, and they moved the antenna to the back in 2010, which I really like. Of course, you still have your Sirius satellite antenna right there, same as on my car. They did away with the little trunk keyhole thing right here. Like I said, the car is really dirty. It's got road trip crap all over it, and it's just not very clean. So I'll do a more professional video on it then. But trunk, literally the exact same as my car. Same exact spare tire and everything under there. You have your emergency release right there. Of course, this being a 2010, it does have the sequential turn signals. I am planning to add a kit eventually to my car to do sequential turn signals, but we'll see. Chrome polished dual exhaust. The tips are much larger on this one than they are on mine, which I'm a big fan of. Of course, you can see tire shine is slung up on the side because knowing the dealership, they really did detail this thing out and just absolutely layered the tire shine on. There is a little door ding right here, and there's a little scrape right here that looks like it was from a shopping cart. It's been touched up pretty well. The worst of it's right there, but you can barely see it. The paint does need a little bit of help. This weekend, like I said, we're going to wash it and wax it. It just looks really sun faded, and there's not a whole lot of wax on it at all. This was definitely a girl's car, you can tell, because there's like makeup and stuff on the steering wheel, and it's gross. Of course, being the 2010 with the 3-valve 4.6 motor, it has the GT instead of the 5.0. Coming around to the front, of course, you do have your typical Mustang front end. Your halogen headlights, HIDs didn't come in until 2013, which would have put him in a V6, and these make just a little bit more power than the V6, so we figured, you know what, just get a real Mustang. There is a little scuff on the bumper right up here. You'll be able to see it better when it's clean, I'm sure. We did order some touch-up paint, so we'll fix that up. There's also a few places right here where the bumper looks like it's been pressed in by something. Same with the license plate frame. Not really sure what happened there. It does have a black chrome pony, which I really like. I think that looks really good. Like I said, red candy metallic. They did change up the hood design. It doesn't have the non-functional hood scoop anymore, which I'm kind of glad. And getting into this car is my favorite part of it. This one has the saddle colored leather interior, and it is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous interior. I love it. And of course, to start this one, just stick the key in. You do have your updated Ford chime as opposed to my cheap sounding ding on my 07 Mustang. But just turn, the gauges will sweep, and you get your typical 4.6 liter startup sound. Really nice exhaust growl. I think the exhaust on this one's a tiny bit quieter than it is on mine. Not really sure why, but I think it is. We'll go ahead and turn on the headlights, hazards, and open up the hood. You just pull on that latch, exactly like my car. It does have dual automatic up and down windows. I just have the windows down because it's really nice inside, but when I get around to driving it, I'll put the windows up, obviously. So opening up the hood, if I can find the latch. Still no hood struts, still has a stinky prop rod. Very familiar sight, 4.6 liter, 3-valve GT. Everybody hates on this motor, but it's really not that bad. One thing I do like is this one has a sound tube that runs into the firewall, and it comes factory with a little foam plug in it. But we pulled that plug out and it sounds fantastic. You can see this one does have the strut tower brace. I think that's part of the track pack, I'm not sure. I know the track pack gives you stiffer suspension, better brake pads, and a 373 rear end. Like I said, you do have your halogen headlights with your turn signals right there. One thing I do like about this one too is it does have body colored door mirrors. You can really tell right here that the sun has kind of eaten on this paint, but we'll help it this weekend. Like I said, 19-inch rims. I really like the design of these rims. Just don't like the size. Basically brand new Goodyear Eagle RSAs. Of course, when you have your hazards on, it doesn't do the sequential thing for the turn signals. You have to turn on the turn signal for that. I'm not really sure what that is. That wasn't here 2 seconds ago. That's nasty. Probably something that fell out of this tree up here or something, I don't know. But anyways, we'll go ahead and hop inside and go over some of the differences on the inside. The door does feel a little heavier and more solid than my car. I guess that's both good and bad. I don't know. Take it or leave it, doesn't matter. Like I said, automatic up and down windows on both sides. Get a little bit of circulation going in here. One thing that is different on this one, of course, is the black door panels. They did change up the door panels so they don't recede like my car's doing. Of course, you have your saddle stitched leather in the door. It's made to look perforated, but it's not, and I'm pretty sure it's vinyl anyway. You do have automatic headlights. That was added for 2010. Your information system controls have been moved over here. Of course, you have your panel dim. Wipers and turn signals are now on one stalk, which is nice. I like that they did that. Cruise control, sync voice command, that was added for 2010. New steering wheel design altogether for 2010, and it's a much better steering wheel than mine. Volume, skip, your Bluetooth telephone right here, and your voice control stuff over there. Of course, this one does have the typical Mustang GT gauges. You can probably hear that sound tube right there. The really deep induction noise. I freaking love that sound. Never ever ever gets old. Fuel economy in this one, on the way home we averaged about 25, and that was with 4 people in the car. Yes, we stuffed 4 people in a Mustang for 3 hours. That was great. We did trade the Fusion in on this, by the way, just in case of any of you who are wondering. Like I said, or like I haven't said, 28,931.2 miles, so very low mileage car. It was definitely owned by a girl though, because there's makeup and stuff stuck in the steering wheel, and you could tell where makeup was all over this, and it's just typical, probably a college girl or an older lady, I don't know. Horn, they did change up this center cap design here too. Key is different now. They did combine it into just one key instead of the separate blade and key fob like my car has. Steering, it does feel a little bit tighter and more responsive in this one. Padded dashboard, but it's not leather stitched. Mine's leather stitched but not padded, so take what you like better and pick it, doesn't matter. I really do like the new interior design much better than mine though. I think it just has a much more upscale feel to it. Feels more premium, I guess. Not that mine's bad, but this interior definitely just feels more premium. You have your chrome bezel around the air vents with your power outlet right up there in the middle for your radar detector. A compass and exterior temperature gauge, neither of which my car have. 6 CD changer. This one does have the shaker stereo, which sounds really good. Unfortunately, can't demonstrate that. You have all your radio controls down here. Moving the shifter back, you can see your climate controls. No heated seats in this one, strangely. Not really sure why it doesn't have heated seats, but it's it's okay, I guess. Mine doesn't have it either. You can see all the makeup stuck in the shifter here. Just lovely things. This one does have the 5-speed automatic. It's actually a really good automatic. I tried teaching him how to drive my car, and he's not near as in tune with cars as I am. Doesn't really care about them as much. He likes Mustangs because they look cool and sound cool, but he's learning. He'll get there. But as far as automatics go, this is a really good one. Traction control, hazards, and your trunk release, which I don't have an interior trunk release button. Coming to the cup holders, you do have ambient lighting in here. We have it set to red to match the outside of the car. This one does have a little flippy cover. The cup holders in here are much deeper than my car as well, which is very much appreciated. I like that. Center console, it is sort of kind of padded with this funny foamy material. You just push down on this and flop that backwards. Here's the little foam nugget I pulled out of the intake resonator to make it loud and throaty. You do have USB and auxiliary. You also have a 12-volt power outlet in there as well. Like I said, beautiful saddle leather. It is perforated. It's actually perforated in these as opposed to my perforated look-alike in my car, which I'm a big fan of. I just think it looks really nice. So without any further time wasted, let's go ahead and set up the camera and we'll take it for a quick little drive. So now that we have the camera set up, let's go ahead and take it for a little test drive. So pulling out onto this road here, that was about a half throttle run to 60. And you can obviously hear that intake tube. It routes in right up under the driver's, right up under the instrument cluster. It's where the sound comes in from. And you can hear it, that is for sure. So starting off in this one of the first things you'll notice is the steering in this car feels so much better than what's in my car. It just has a lot more on-center feel and loads up much better. And obviously you notice the automatic as opposed to my car. As far as automatics go, like I said, this is a really good one. Tried to teach him to drive stick and that didn't really work, but here we go. That was full throttle to 60. And this car, I know it's a 3-valve. You can hate on it all day long. Oh my God, you didn't buy a 5.0. What's wrong with you? Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. We didn't want to put my 16-year-old brother in a 420 horsepower Mustang. 330 horsepower out of this 3-valve is plenty, and this car is not what I would call slow. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Another thing you notice after you set off in this one as opposed to mine is the suspension is much stiffer. That's due in part to the 19-inch wheels as opposed to my tiny 17s. But also the track pack does give you stiffer suspension and 373 rear gears and better brake pads, and you can certainly feel that stiffer suspension. This one handles so much more like a sports car than mine. Mine's more boaty, straight line speed, stuff like that, but this one actually tackles corners really well, and the rear end doesn't step out near as willingly as it does in my car. And I really do appreciate that. This one rotates well, but the rear end doesn't just absolutely go nuts. I know I had crappy 8-year-old all-season tires, and this one's on brand new all-seasons, but still, it's a night and day difference. I'll kind of toss it around this corner here. This car's fun. The more I drive it, the more I fall in love with it. It just has a lot of personality, even with the automatic. But you can see I went around that corner really quickly back there, and it handles so well. There's not much body roll at all. There was a tiny hint of tire squeal, but it didn't feel like it was trying to break loose. I wasn't on power during the corner. Had I been on power, it probably would have rotated a little bit, but it doesn't just understeer and then wildly oversteer like my car does, and I really appreciate that. Seriously fun car to drive, handles much more like a sports car, and I really like that. But as far as daily drivability, of course you have your loud intake sound. You can plug that back up if that's not really your thing. My brother and I love it, so it's whatever. great. Visibility is just fine. The side mirrors are a little smaller than they are on the 05 to 09s. You can still see out of them pretty well, but they are a little bit short. They kind of shortened them down. Mine are really tall. And I do miss that added little extra bit of visibility. But visibility out the back's pretty good. This one has really dark window tint out back. So I do struggle a little bit seeing out the back just because of that. But as far as your window size and mirror and all that goes, it's not a big deal. We'll go ahead and stomp it one more time because why not? It's so much fun. Yeah, it's an automatic, but it still puts a big smile on your face, and it shifts so well too. You don't have these delayed, laggy shifts where the transmission is trying to figure out what in the world it's supposed to do. It's always on point. It knows exactly what to do. When you stomp it just from when you're cruising, it does not hesitate to downshift one bit. I hate to say I wouldn't mind having an automatic Mustang, especially with the 5-speed. I don't have a lot of experience with the 6-speed automatics and the 5.0s and the 3.7s, but it's, as far as automatics go, this one's phenomenal. You do have a little bit of manual shiftability. You can put it down in 3-2-1 and bump the shifter up if you want. But I just like leaving it in drive and going. And this car goes. It is a seriously quick car. And it's a lot of car for a 16-year-old to have, but I really do think that my brother's going to be just fine. He's a very good driver. He's very cautious. He doesn't take near as many chances as me. And that's good. It'll give him time to kind of learn the dynamics of a rear-wheel drive car. I certainly wish I had started off in a rear-wheel drive sports car. I have no regrets about my Tahoe at all, but gosh, that sounds good. I love it. And this one's completely bone stock. All we did was pull that little foam nugget out of there, and it's making noises like that. So, I mean, what else do you want out of a car? I mean, the exhaust could do to be a tiny bit louder, but he's not going to do that. I can guarantee you. He doesn't give 2 rips. But it's not a big deal. Like I said, I have no regrets about my Tahoe, but I do wish I had started off in a sports car like this. That way I could have learned the dynamics of a rear-wheel drive car early instead of trying to pick it up now. So I think this will teach him to be a very good driver. He's a very safe driver, and I think this car will be perfect for him. The ride is a little choppy on bumpy roads, but it feels very planted and very settled. It doesn't feel like it's crashing over bumps. It just kind of irons them out, which I really like. Of course, this is a heavier car, around 3,600 pounds. They're not light. And you do feel the weight, but you don't feel it in a bad way. It feels very sturdy. It doesn't feel heavy and throwing its weight all over the place, kind of like my car does. I'll get around to fixing that eventually on mine. It just kind of, I need funds and don't really have funds to do much with it at the moment. But yeah, this is a really good car. I'm a big fan of it. I'm super happy for him. Like I said, he's not really into cars, but when he got this, he was just absolutely beaming. He was in love with it from the first second he saw it, and as he should have been. This thing's phenomenal. Such a fun car to drive. Handles so freaking well. Sounds great. Goes really well. Looks fantastic. It'll look better once we get some wax on it and clean it up. The inside's super clean though. There's no like scrapes or scuffs or anything on the interior. Yeah, there's signs of wear after 5 years, but you know, what are you gonna do? It's not that bad. So overall, I think he got a phenomenal car. It's a blast to drive. I wouldn't mind owning this thing. I do miss driving my manual when I'm driving this, but as far as straight line speed goes, this would be real close to my car. I know this has 30 more horsepower, but the automatic does put the power down really well. Manual wins smiles and automatic wins drag races. That's kind of how I look at it. I don't think I could shift near as quick as this automatic does or near as well as this automatic does. I'll get there eventually, but It's just such a fun car. Once I get it cleaned up and washed and waxed and all, I'll do more of a tour on it. But I just wanted to give you guys I'm not going to call it quick because I'm sure this video is going to be fairly long, but it's such a good car. I'm extremely happy for him. I love the car. I love driving it. This one is, if I were going back road blasting, this is the one I would take over my car any day of the week, just because it handles that much better. Feels really stable in the corners, but going through that dip right there, you really feel it. This one doesn't really do the negatives that my car does. What they did with this is took complaints that I would have made on my car and kind of fixed them. Mine feels boaty, this one doesn't. This one has a cool induction noise. Mine has louder exhaust. You win some, you lose some, it doesn't really matter. But as far as miles per gallon go, this is such a good car. And I think it'll be a great car for him. I'll be sure and keep you guys posted on how it's doing over the years and stuff like that. But as far as this video goes, that really pretty much wraps it up. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.